Gane, it really depends on what he has done in the past 4 or 5 months since losing to John Jones. Sergey Spivac, he averages something like 5 takedowns, 5 to 6 takedowns every 3 rounds. So he averages 2 takedowns a round.
What do you hear? What do you say? This is how to fuck up your parlay. I'm Timmy Shoes with Inside Fighting, and I've got the whole crew with me. Andrew Capucetti, Jesse Rowe. Boys, how are you doing? We've got some fights this weekend over in Paris. Guys, what's going on?
What's up, Timmy? How you doing?
I'm looking at your notes here from the betting show. Fire. We got what? Three fights?
Yeah, we're looking at 3 fights today. Ciryl Gane is fighting in front of his home crowd. Actually, all the French fighters are fighting in front of their home crowd. Those are the top 3 fights we're looking at. Ciryl Gane versus Sergey Spivac. Manon Fiorot versus Rose Namajunas, who's climbing up, fighting at flyweight for the first time. And Saint-Denis versus Thiago Moises. And so those are the fights we're looking at. Guys, are you excited for this card? What do you make of it? It's not as stacked as the last Paris card.
But last time UFC Paris happened, it was pretty electric. The way it ended with Gane knocking out Tuivasa, it was an electric event. Vettori fought Whitaker. That was a good card. So I do think UFC Paris it's a good crowd. Paris has good fans. They're passionate for MMA. It should be good.
Yeah, last time they fought in Paris was insane.
Yeah.
And it was like Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. And I'm excited for every card. Even though I don't watch every card, I like to have the option just to know if I want to turn it on, there's UFC. So any Saturday with the UFC fight night is fire.
Absolutely. And this is
I like Saturday. morning MMA is fun. Last week we got up at like 5 a.m. to watch Korean Zombie. So I do like some morning MMA occasionally.
That was too early, but I like morning. I like lunch MMA.
Yeah.
I think this the Paris crowd, it's only the second time that the UFC is in Paris, and that Paris crowd was electric last time. Kind of reminds me of the London crowd. So they really get into it. Speaking of getting into it, let's get right into the fights. We've got a lightweight bout. Benoit Saint-Denis. He's fighting the Brazilian Thiago Moises. Saint-Denis is a minus 162 favorite. Moises is a plus 136 underdog. Now, Saint-Denis, he's 4-1 in his last 5. He just submitted Ismael Bonfim in his last fight. Moises, who's been around forever, he is 3-2 in his last 5, and he just beat Melquizael Costa. So, boys, what do you make of this fight?
We're here to make money. If you guys want to make money, this is a betting show. You know the rules. We want to put money in your pocket. At minus 160, Benoit is the move. Lay down 160 to win 100. Like Timmy said, 4 out of his last 5, 11-1 overall, straight from France. Easy money. For
Jesse, what do you think?
No technical analysis at all, other than he's from France. He's 4 out of 5. He's 11-1. Easy money.
Let's go. I like it.
Technical, yeah. Timmy could give us the technical analysis.
Well, so I'm looking at both of them, and I see Benoit, 2 wins by knockout, 9 by submission, 6 first-round finishes. Then I look at Moises, 3 wins by knockout, 7 by submission, 4 first-round finishes, 17-6 versus a 11-1 record. I think Cap's right on the money. I think this is a clear take the money line on Benoit. It's not amazing odds, but it's good enough that you can throw a couple $100 down. I think he's the hotter fighter at 11-1. I just think that he's a favorite for a reason, and that's where I would put my money in this fight.
Guys, I like what you're thinking, and I just want to point out, Jesse, you brought up their winning methods. Both these guys are grapplers, so there's some pretty interesting prop bets. So if you bet on winning method, Saint-Denis by submission is a plus 300. So if you want to turn that minus 162 and turn it into a plus 300, thinking that he's going to win by submission, that is a pretty good bet. Now, Thiago Moises, he's been in there with some really good guys, and he is also a very good grappler. Him to win by submission is plus 400. So if you're out there feeling like you want to bet on the underdog, you can turn that plus 136 into a plus 400. But I'm with you guys. I think Saint-Denis is going to get it done in front of his home crowd. I think that UFC Paris crowd's going to be electric, and he's going to get it done. Now, we've got a very interesting fight in the co-main event, a couple of women's flyweights. Now, Manon Fiorot, she is a big deal. She's supposed to be France's best chance at a champion other than Ciryl Gane, obviously. And she's taking on Rose Namajunas, who's coming up, deciding to move up weight classes. And these lines are a little weird, right? We had 162 and plus 136 in the last fight. But Fiorot is a favorite at minus 185. Namajunas is a plus 154 underdog. And that's pretty interesting. Now, Fiorot, she is riding a 10-fight win streak, obviously 5-0 in her last 5. I think she lost her first fight and has not lost since. Now, Rose Namajunas is coming off of that awful fight with Carla Esparza, but she was 3-2 in those last 5. And those wins include 2 wins over Weili Zhang, who is dominating right now down at strawweight. So, guys, what do you make of this fight?
I'm super excited for this fight. Listen, this whole card is pretty fire, but not to cut you off, I'll be quick. I think this is going to be the best Rose Namajunas we've seen, because I always believe when people go up in weight, their first performance up in, I think she's fought at 125 before, right, Timmy, or no?
I think this is the first time. Yeah, it's been a long time since she fought.
Well, I'm always a fan of people going up in weight rather than down in weight. We saw Frankie Edgar go down in weight, and he got smashed. And then we saw Jose Aldo go down in weight. He actually did decent, but
I don't know if she fought at strawweight in Invicta, but this is the first time in the UFC that she's fighting at flyweight.
So I love when people go up in weight, and we've seen so many people go from 55 to 170. Everyone goes from 55 to 70. Connor, Nate, Masvidal, the list goes on. Cerrone, Ferguson. I love watching people go up in weight. So, because I'm against cutting weight. I don't know why. I think the whole mentality of cutting weight actually makes you a weaker fighter. And I'm always thinking that the less weight you got to cut, the stronger you're going to show up fight day. With that being said, Rose is going to look phenomenal. But Fiorot with the home crowd, 10-1, like Timmy said, best chance, France's best chance at a champ, female champ. I got Fiorot. Lay the 185.
If you need any proof about how insane MMA weight cutting is, go look at the video of Amanda Lemos cutting weight for the fight against Zhang Weili. She was just absolutely emaciated after coming out of the weight cutting, those tents, the heat tents, whatever it is that they wrap themselves in. That being said, I'm sensing a theme here, and this is a tough fight for Rose to come back to after a 16-month layoff or whatever it is. And I like the French home option. I think Fiorot is she's a good favorite for a reason. I don't love the matchup for Rose Namajunas. I like Rose a lot, but I do think this is a tough fight back, and I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a decision victory for Fiorot. That's what I'm.
But before you get so you're picking Fiorot.
Yeah. Yes.
Before you give your pick though, Timmy, I do want to add this. I wouldn't throw that much money on Fiorot. Rose is the type of fighter she can pull it out and show up and just knock Fiorot out. Rose is a monster, and she's former champ. She's been doing it a long time, and I like that her husband's always in her corner, cornering her. Sometimes if you show up with the right energy and the right vibe, that combination of having your husband in your corner or your wife, even if you're a male fighter, you got your wife in your corner, it's almost like it's 2 against 1. You know what I mean? Except for one's doing the fighting. So if Rose comes and Pat Barry is on his shit, they could blow Fiorot away. I wouldn't bet on the fight. But who you got, Timmy?
I'll tell you what, I don't know if this is still a record, but at one point, Rose Namajunas had the record for the most knockdowns at strawweight. So, she hits hard for being a woman of her size. And like you said, she's moving up. I think she's going to hit even harder at 125, probably. And, I'm a Thug Rose fan through and through. I'm picking with my heart a little bit. I'm going with Rose, but I'm looking at this prop bet right here, and I can't ignore it. Rose to win by KO is a plus 1,100. You put down 100, you can win 1,100 back. I'm looking at that. I'm thinking, man, this is the woman who head kicked Zhang Wei Li. This is the woman who knocked out Joanna Jędrzejczyk, and she's going to be hitting harder at 125. I'm just feeling Rose by knockout. I don't disagree necessarily. Fiorot by decision is actually a really solid pick, Jesse. She is a favorite for a reason, but Fiorot also hasn't been fighting the top people. She just beat Caitlin Chukagian, and she has a win over Bueno Silva. Those are like the top competitors. Rose has been fighting, champions. Joanna Jędrzejczyk, Zhang Wei Li, Carla Esparza. She's been at the best of the best, and I think that's going to play a factor. I really like Rose to win this fight. Rose by decision is also a plus 300, so you could probably even go into the props and do a double chance. Rose by knockout or decision probably gives really good odds. And also Fiorot, if you like her by knockout, that's also plus 275. But at the end of the day, I'm going Doug Rose. I really like that pick. Plus 1,100, too good to ignore. The main event, Ciryl Gane versus Sergey Spivac. This one is extremely intriguing for me. Personally, I think this is the biggest fight of Gane's career because it could make or break him. Gane is the minus 170 favorite. He is French, fighting in front of his home crowd, so he's going to have that going for him. Sergey Spivac is a plus 142, again with these weird odds. But, Gane is 3-2 in his last five. Obviously he got dominated by John Jones in his last fight at UFC 285. Spivac is 4-1 in his last five. He just submitted Derek Lewis. Boys, what do you make of this fight?
Yeah, he didn't just get dominated by John Jones. He got manhandled. I mean, he threw one punch, Jones slipped it. He was on the ground, got choked out within a minute. I mean, it wasn't close. Ciryl Gane's grappling leaves much to be desired, and that's the nicest way of putting it that I can. And this is the issue that I have with this fight. I fucking love the odds for Sergey Spivac, and I'm taking him. Because Gane, it really depends on what he has done in the past 4 or 5 months since losing to John Jones. Sergey Spivac, he averages something like 5 takedowns, 5 to 6 takedowns every 3 rounds. So he averages 2 takedowns a round. Wow. And if Ciryl Gane can't stop those takedowns, he is fucked. He is not going to win this fight. And it just depends. If the fight stays standing, we know who is the better option here. We know it's Gane by knockout is a very good option in this fight. But if he hasn't addressed this very glaring issue, I think Spivac could be spoiling the main event for this French crowd. And I'm taking the odds. I like Spivac a lot in this fight.
Nice. This is another sick fight, and I don't know who's going to win. But, Gane has great hands. And is Spivac, I know, Jesse, you gave us his takedown average 2 per round.
Something like that, yeah.
Timmy?
Is he what?
Is he a grappler?
He's a grappler. He's very wrestling based.
Wow.
He's from Moldova. I don't know if it's a Sambo background, but he does have that sort of push you up against the cage, take you down style.
Yeah, he looks scary. He almost looks like Sergeant Powell from
Gomer Pyle. Yeah. Gomer Pyle.
Gomer Pyle. What's that movie called?
Full Metal Jacket.
Full Metal Jacket.
I see it.
Yeah, he looks like a Russian version of Sergeant Powell. Kind of scary looking dude. Sergeant Powell, if he was in shape, he would be looking scary.
Vincent D'Onofrio, the name of the actor. Vincent D'Onofrio.
Top 5 favorite movie for me, from a guy because me and Jesse are complete opposite ends of the spectrum. He's watched almost every movie made in the history of movies, where I really don't watch movies.
But you picked a good one, Cap. I got to say, you actually just changed my perspective of you a little bit when you said that's one of your favorites. That's a fucking great movie. I love that.
Yeah, it's the top 5 favorite movie of mine is Full Metal Jacket, along with Casino. So nice. I'm not a guy who watches a lot of movies. I have quality. Casino's in my top 5 as well. My dad put me on Casino.
Casino's a great movie.
Yeah.
So Sergeant Powell versus Ciryl Gane.
Right.
Give us a pick.
This is a great fight, and I've said this almost every show. I always say the same thing because I'm just an honest man here. I don't know who to pick. I'm not here to lose people money. I want to give people real picks. You know what I mean? So I'm also opting out of this fight here, guys. I do not have a pick for you. All I can say is that this is a fantastic fight. And is this during the day? Because I got to be watching. Is this Saturday morning?
I think so. I think it's going to be like in the early afternoon for us. If you're,
Early afternoon, yeah.
would it be?
Whenever I don't know, because it's such a close fight, I like to lean towards the underdog. I will say that. And with Spivac's wrestling, if he can just avoid Gane's boxing,
Yeah,
he should be able to get it down. Get him down.
starts at noon for us, Cap.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
Jesse, I think you were right on the money. He basically said all of the things I was going to say. Listen, I knew John Jones was going to dominate Ciryl Gane because one-legged Francis Ngannou, who had never attempted a single takedown in his entire UFC career, wrestled Ciryl Gane for the last 3 rounds when they fought. And if one-legged Francis Ngannou can do that, I knew John Jones was going to do it. Now he's fighting Spivac, who's 28. He's 16-3. He's got a lot of talent. This is a make or break fight for Gane because the book on how to beat him is out. Francis Ngannou kind of showed everybody how to beat him. You're going to wrestle him. Spivac's got great wrestling, and Spivac's got great submissions as well. Sergey Spivac by submission is a plus 400. I love the underdog odds. I think, if Gane hasn't addressed his issues with the wrestling, he's going to get dominated in this fight. And a thing that concerns me about Gane, maybe this changed after the Jones fight, but before the Jones fight, he basically said, I don't even need to train grappling that much because, he didn't mention the grappling, but he says he doesn't really train that hard up until like a couple weeks before the fight because he's a guy who's so athletic, he just sort of gets away with it. You can't do that at this level, not against grapplers. There's not a ton of grapplers at heavyweight, which is why he's done so good, but now he's fighting grapplers. So hopefully he changed that in his mentality and he's going to come out with some strong takedown defense. But I like Spivac.
You like Spivac. Wow. And Jesse also picked Spivac. If this wasn't in France, I would be Spivac 100%. The only reason I'm giving Gane a chance is because he might come out swinging because it's in France. We saw what he did at Tai Tuivasa in France, and that was insane. And Tai's
But just to remind you about that fight, Tai also knocked Gane down in that fight, and Tai didn't ever make an effort to grapple at any point in that fight. Yeah. That was he was challenging him on the feet. That's not going to happen with Spivac. It's not.
That was a great fight, and we covered that here at Inside Fighting. Inside Fighting has been around so long that we're already talking a year ago.
Yeah.
And that was actually the same weekend. So Dana's running it back in Paris a year later.
Yeah. Either way,
the French crowd deserved it because the last time it was fire. I'm sure they're going to make this event fire as well.
Yeah, but I agree, Cap, that the France thing does bother my pick a little bit, the Spivac pick a little bit. I still think he'll be able to do enough, but
I don't know. So Gane might just be all pumped up over the France crowd, and Spivac might get caught because we know Gane's boxing is elite. And you're talking about when Francis out grappled him. I was thinking I lost so much money on that fight. I was there live in Anaheim, California, sitting on the floor. It was right in front of me. And I was so disappointed. I lost all respect for Gane that night. So because I knew Francis, I had inside info that Francis had a hurt knee. So I upped my bet. Someone told me that Francis was coming in the fight with the hurt knee. So I was like, oh, he guaranteed losing. And then Gane puts on that, what do they call it?
Lame duck?
No, another thing. Lame duck, not lame duck performance, but he put on a rolled an egg, or what do they call it, Timmy?
Rolled the donut?
I don't know what you're getting at. Yeah.
Laid an egg. He laid an egg.
Egg.
Struck out. Yeah, he laid an egg.
Horrible performance. Horrible. So you never know. Gane's either going to come out looking like a 10 or a 1. That's how Gane fights. So he might come out versus Spivac looking like a 10. And Gane at a 10, that was who we saw versus Tuivasa.
Yeah.
So Spivac's in trouble.
I'm really interested to see how he reacts after getting dominated by John Jones, because I remember he got submitted and he's sitting there against the octagon looking up just like, what the fuck just happened? John Jones just rolled me over. If that inspired him, if that lit a fire under him, and he's like, I got to work on my grappling right now, then things might be different. But if it didn't, if he still had that sort of, oh, I'm so athletic, I can get away with this sort of attitude, then I think that's going to come back and bite him.
I would bet the under. If I'm going to do a bet on this main event, I wouldn't pick a winner. I think someone's getting a finish. Gane is coming out and knocking out Spivac, or Spivac is going to submit Gane on the floor. I don't think it's going to go 5 rounds. Bet the under.
Beautiful pick. I didn't pull up those odds, but I bet those odds are really good that it does not go the distance.
He just fight against Derek Lewis too. Spivac took Lewis down like something like 4 or 5 times in the first round, and then eventually submitted him. So,
Yeah.
I would pick the under. And I know you didn't get the odds for this fight though, but I do want to do an extra fight here. How about the Volkan fight? Minus 180.
Volkan Oezdemir, yeah. Oezdemir is fighting another French guy, right? Oh no, he's not French.
Yeah, where's
Bogdan
this guy? I've never heard of him.
He doesn't even have a Wikipedia page, brother. I don't know.
Have you ever heard of him? Timmy, you've heard of everybody. You never heard of Bogdan Guskov?
I have not, no.
When you pull him up here on the
maybe
ESPN
he's sure.
Hey, he doesn't even have a picture on the ESPN app.
I'm looking on the UFC page. He doesn't even have a picture on the UFC page. Oh, I didn't realize Farid Basharat is fighting on this card. He's a massive favorite.
Nice.
Oh, Javid, yeah, he's a friend of the channel, right?
Brother Farid is. Yeah.
He's got a picture on
this guy
this is his UFC debut, obviously. I wonder if he's like a late replacement. Bogdan Guskov is 14-2. He's from Uzbekistan. He looks like a scary motherfucker.
Uzbekistan. Let's see. Pull up a pic.
He looks like Billy Corgan. He looks like a scary Billy Corgan from the Smashing Pumpkins.
Text me a pic.
Bogdan Guskov.
It's on Sherdog. I'm on my laptop. I'm not going to be.
I'm looking it up right now.
14-2. He's on a 4-fight win streak and 12 wins by knockout. Of his
look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4.
2 by submission. Wow. Has 100% finish rate in his professional career.
Hey, jeez, and almost all of them are by. This dude's got power in his hands.
Yeah.
KO, TKO.
And Volkan has power in his hands. Hey, bro, this guy has no pictures on UFC, no pictures on ESPN, no Wikipedia. And this weekend, he's going to make a name for himself. I bet on this guy. He's looking like he has the same body type as like an Anthony Smith, but no tattoos. Same head as Anthony Smith. He looks like a Russian Anthony Smith.
Speaking of fights to bet the under on, Cap, both of you guys. So Volkan, 12 win. He's set 18-7. 12 of his wins are by knockout. All 12 of them are first round finishes. So if you want to bet on a fight out of his, it's 25 fights, but half of his fights have ended in the first round. So if you want to bet on an under that this fight ain't going the distance, this is the one to do it. Bet the under 1.5 rounds. I put that.
After Googling this guy, Bogdan, I'm all in on him. Give me him at plus. I think the odds here are plus 150 is what I'm saying. Get plus 155. Give me Bogdan Guskov.
I like it.
Yeah, let's go. He's about to make a name for himself. UFC debut.
Bogdan Guskov company. Fuck yeah.
14,
all right.
14-2, bro. His solid record. He looks scary. He's
flying, bro. He is.
Volkan has lost 3 out of his last 4. And
he's lost more than that. He's lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of his last 9 fights.
Wow.
So he's 3-6 in his last 9.
All versus top contenders.
Yeah, he lost to Yuri, he lost to Ankalaev, he lost to Krylov. It's not like he's losing to bums. But it hasn't been a good
props to Volkan because he fights all names. So this is actually the smallest name he's fought in 9 fights.
Yep.
He beat Jimmy Manua. This is the smallest name he's fought since 2017 when he fought Misha Kurnov. So all respect to Volkan. This is actually another good fight. That's what I'm saying. This card is actually a pretty good card. I'm stoked for this card because I don't
sleep on these.
Yeah, it's a pretty good card.
All right. That was UFC Paris. How to fuck up your parlay. I'm Timmy Shoes with Inside Fighting, joined by Andrew Capucetti, Jesse Rowe. We're on InsideFighting.com, all of the socials, YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. You know where to find us. Guys, thanks for watching. Peace.
Hey, have a good Labor Day weekend. Hope you guys make some money. Bet smart and responsibly.
Absolutely.
Let's go.